Now that you've learned a little bit about persuasive and subjective writing, we are going to have a project. You are going to create a blog. And a blog is like an electronic journal that you can post for others to read and comment. Your followers, which is just like Instagram and Twitter, your followers can like your messages, they can ask you questions, and that communication can happen instantaneously. It is social, it's online. Uh, it's really an effective way to get your interests and your knowledge out to the public. But you can also have different blogs that are allowing you to have some privacy. For example, educational blogs or EduBlog is a site that allows you to have password protected um, journaling so that not just anyone can see your information. And that's really something important to think about because you are going to be sharing things that are personal, not necessarily personal about you, but it is about your interests and or perhaps something that you're just knowledgeable with. Hopefully they're both the same thing. So just keep in mind that whatever you put online is online, which means people can find it. So take your time, make sure you are citing your sources, that you're finding factual information and it's not just necessarily your opinion. Opinions are great, they're absolutely fine. But if you're really trying to push a message or to get people to agree with you or understand things or raise awareness for something, then you really need to back your opinions up with that factual information. So it's not just your thoughts, it's that you agree with this overall factual information. So the assignment is creating a blog about a social issue in your community. Now, preferably, we'd like you to use an issue that you've read about in this class. However, if you do have an experience that you would like to discuss in your blog that is not something you read about in class, just reach out to your instructor and get approval for that new topic. Now, this is a multimedia blog that addresses the issue you select and makes a strong argument. Your blog needs to include a title for the entire blog, which is that overall theme that you're going to talk about. Then your post title, which is the specific entry that you're writing about in this blog post. Your argument and multimedia components to support that argument and get readers to interact and participate. Now, the rest of this student guide is going to have step-by-step instructions for everything that you need to do. And as you follow along, you'll get to that last Step 8, which is right before you submit, and this is a checklist. Did you make sure that your blog included your name, your teacher's name, and the due date? Now, your due date in this case is just the date that you're creating your blog. And if you go through the checklist and you can say that yes, you've actually done all of these things, then you know that you are ready to submit your presentation. If you did not uh, select or state that you did that item, then you need to go back, revisit, revise, and then you're ready to submit. You also have your rubric available. Now you can see that this is a 5-category rubric with 6 weighted icons that go from 1, which is that beginning stage, all the way to exceptional. And the great thing about having the rubric ahead of time is that you're able to see the different categories where you're going to be evaluated, but also how much information and what types of information you need to make sure you include in your final draft. Again, we always are striving for exceptional because that means we know that we've incorporated a deep understanding of our topic, a persuasive way of describing that topic, and a great multimedia presentation that entices your readers to want to know more and to interact with you. You will also receive a blog template, and it includes your title page that you see here, as well as your template for the blog itself and your works cited. And again, your works cited is where you put your URLs or your websites where you find your information. And again, just like we discussed in your orientation or introduction unit at the very beginning of this course, that means that any of your information that you pull directly from your source is in quotations because you are quoting your source. Anything that you pull from that source that you do not directly quote still gets that in-text citation because you're paraphrasing. And if you did not use a source, you do not include it in your works cited. This also goes for images and audio files. So make sure that whatever it is that you're using, you have permission to use. This is Creative Commons. And again, that's going to be something that you would need to refer back to for your introduction unit. And make sure that you are using materials that are free use, that you can post and reproduce them without having copyright violations. This is such a fun activity, and because it is something that you can choose to write about your interest, it can make it really, really fun and enjoyable. And it's not your typical essay assignment. If you do have any questions, however, please feel free to reach out to your instructor. That's what they're here for. Any questions that you have in regards to the actual process itself, or about helping you find a topic, or having good suggestions on finding images, any of those things, that's your job as a student to ask for help, and that's our job as instructors to support you. Again, have fun.